NFL offseason additions. Offseason edition with an E. So we are grading the draft, trades, free agency. Who has had the best offseason? Who has had the worst offseason? Jack, throw it up. Let's get into it.
There we go.
Let me see if I can go full screen without like my entire face disappearing. Okay, we're good. All right. Let's start with the Arizona Cardinals. Each of us, let's choose one of us. Each of us gives one letter, and we'll average out the letter as best as we can. So Arizona Cardinals, grade their offseason. I was underwhelmed.
Yeah, I would
probably
probably
include like DeAndre Hopkins getting suspended. Too.
Yeah, that would count. I would go C tier, honestly. At best.
Yeah, I'd go C.
Yeah, you spent your first round pick essentially on Hollywood Brown. You picked Trey McBride in the second, which good player, not a great spot. You have Zach Ertz there. The mid-round picks were okay. You still have the Kyler drama, which I think is being cleared up now. They just made weird moves. This is like what I'm going to talk about probably with a lot of these teams is some teams got better, some teams stayed the same, and some teams got worse. I think the Cardinals got worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate the Marquise Brown trade, but it's like
It was a win for them, I think.
Yeah, but with Hopkins suspended, it's like now he actually like really has to go off, or it's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna go C tier.
All right. The Atlanta Falcons. Drake London in the first round. Bring in Marcus Mariota. Deion Jones is on his way out. Foye Oluokun is now a Jaguar. I don't know. It's kind of just like rebuilding. So we almost should probably have a tier of just like this team is rebuilding. Their goal is not to be good this year.
Can I add another tier? Or no, I can move them down. I just shifted the whole thing. Jeez. We'll do the D tier will be D/rebuild. We'll call it that.
Okay, because I think Atlanta, like, you're not trying to win by signing Mariota and drafting Drake London 8th overall. I love their draft. So I don't even want to throw them in the rebuild category. I really like their draft. London was whatever, but they got was it not Pascal? It was, or was it? No, Pascal's still on the Lions. It was Falcons draft. They got their second round pick, Ebiketie. Okay, freaking Arnold Ebiketie is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going to make a video about it in the future, but Arnold Ebiketie, really awesome guy. Was super productive at Temple, super productive at Penn State. He's going to be immediately their best pass rusher, other than Grady Jarrett, but he's going to be immediately their best edge rusher. I'm going to throw the Falcons at probably B, even though I didn't like their free agency period. I vote for B.
I think it's just rebuilding.
We can put them in C.
Away Matt Ryan for Marcus Mariota.
We'll go in the middle. We'll put them in C.
Okay, sounds.
What do you think of your Ravens?
They killed the draft. They won the Hollywood Brown trade. Both Arizona and Baltimore won the Hollywood Brown trade. You got Marcus Williams. I think it's an A. I don't think it's the clear best, but I think it's up there. Very productive free agency, and then a top 3 draft class. I would say A tier.
I agree with that.
All right. I will trust you guys. Buffalo, I feel like A.
They
either
lost
A
their
or
number
B.
2 corner.
That's true.
They did bring in Von Miller.
I did like that. Well, if I'm a Bills fan, I like the Von Miller thing, but
Right.
Obviously not. So.
Emmanuel Sanders is gone.
I think Sanders is gone with the emergence of Gabriel Davis. I don't know if that's necessarily a loss.
I didn't love their draft. I didn't love Elam in the first round. I didn't love Cook in round 2.
Maybe B tier.
In front 6. I would probably go B tier.
I think B tier is fair. B for Buffalo. Panthers would have been different like 6 or 7 hours ago.
Yes.
I think I'd give them a B.
Okay.
It's also a trade for Baker. So now is Matt Corral next year? Is that what your plan is with him? So like kind of puts your like draft in question in a sense.
I did like Ekwonu at 6.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't take a quarterback at 6. They did trade up for Corral. They had limited draft capital to begin with. Then they got Amari Barno out of Tech, right? The edge that ran a 4.39. I liked their draft, all things considered. The Ian Thomas signing should dock them because I don't know why you're paying Ian Thomas that much money to not be good at football. I'd probably go B tier. I probably would have gone C tier before the Baker trade, though.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay.
All right. Can
The
we give
Bears.
an F to Chicago? Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
They
They're not
should
even
be
in
down.
rebuild. This is F.
Well, we have to put them somewhere, so we'll just slap them down there.
Like, what if they done anything to help Justin Fields? Okay, they drafted Bayless Jones in the 3rd round. Really? I like Kyler. I love Kyler Gordon. I really like Brisker too. But why are you doubling up on corner or doubling up on defensive back when you have a terrible offensive line and your receiver core is Darnell Mooney and a bunch of generated players? Oh, I don't know. I think the Bears probably had the worst offseason, and it wasn't like an intentional like tank job like the Falcons. I don't know what the Bills or the Bears are trying to do. Yeah. All right. Bengals.
I think like B, it's like they didn't do much, but they helped, made their offensive line better. And that's
Offensive
where
line.
it's big.
Collins is good. The other, I think it's kind of overrated that they just made the moves. So they made moves. It's like, do they make good moves? Well, Collins is a good move. Then the other guys, it's like Kappa and Ted Karras. They're like mid, so like better than Jackson Carman, yes, but I don't think that's moving the needle a whole lot. So working towards Burrow extension, Chase, Higgins, whatnot. They did go out and they lost Uzoma. They brought in Hayden Hurst. I think that's a neutral move, if not a little bit down. Jesse Bates, chaos. Drafted Daxton Hill, good 1st round pick. I think it's fine. I think it's B tier. It's between B and a C.
I'd give them a B.
We'll go B.
All right.
The Browns, I feel like you would get a C or a D.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd give them a D.
Okay. On the bright side, they brought in good players in the draft.
And
They
Amari
did.
Cooper.
And Amari Cooper, and they got Deshaun Watson. The problem is Deshaun Watson's about to be suspended, and you traded 3 first-round picks for him, including your 13th overall pick.
And then the whole
So-
disaster with Baker. So
Yeah.
it's like
But that's I
I guess that's more of a
needed enough
Baker
value
issue
out of
than a
Baker.
Browns issue. I feel like maybe
But I also blame the Browns for how they handled it.
Yes.
yeah, they
They
didn't
could handle
it
it
great.
so much better than they did. So for that reason, I give them a T.
All right. They did retain Clowney. They traded Troy Hill. D is fine. I didn't hate their draft. I thought it was fine. I'd be
I mean, it's just like quarterback we know is the most important position, and they
I'm
just messed.
so
Yeah, they
happy
did.
And
that
then
they
end up
got
Jacoby
back.
Brissett started.
I want to throw Dallas C or D tier. I think Dallas had some pretty big whiffs. Like you lose Randy Gregory, you lose Amari Cooper.
The way they lost
Wilson.
Randy Gregory too, like it looked like he was about to sign with them, and then he pulls a 180 and goes to Denver. Like that was
Yeah.
I
give them a
think
C.
they got worse. I think they got worse this offseason.
yeah. I think we
Their
give them a
draft,
C.
like Sam Williams in the 2nd round. Why? Tyler Smith at the end of round 1, I get it, but I think it's a little early. So I didn't like their 1st round pick. I didn't
We'll
like
go
the
C.
2nd round pick. So that's a problem. And then you lose super talented players at key positions. Like, I don't know.
They could probably still play well though.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're going to be fine. I just think they got worse. Every other team in the division had a better offseason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Denver.
Hey,
You put them in S tier because they got Russell Wilson.
Next team. Moving on. Yeah, no, the Russ signing was just like, or
Yeah.
trade. I say signing, but trade. Like that was insane.
I'd give the Lions a B. I think they had a pretty solid offseason.
I kind of want to go A with the draft. I really like the draft.
I like
they
their
were the ones that
draft.
got Josh Pascal. They fleeced the Vikings to get Jameson Williams. They took the right guy at 2. They didn't, and then they made really savvy signings. So you go get a guy like Deshaun Elliott from Baltimore that was a free safety for Baltimore, but he's really a strong safety, playing free safety because Chuck Clark exists. So now he gets to play strong safety. You bring in a guy as well, also from Baltimore, and Chris Board, who is a longtime special teamer, like a Pro Bowl caliber special teamer. Now he gets to play a linebacker. And I think they just made like a bunch of small moves. The DJ Chark move is really savvy. I would probably go A tier. I'm between A and a B on Detroit.
I'd go A. Because I feel like too, like Detroit had no expectations last year, and they won a couple games,
Mm-hmm.
and now they look.
Fleeced Minnesota.
So A's closer than B.
Yeah.
Alright,
Okay,
there we go.
Green Bay, I feel like gets a C, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because like I don't
Devontae Adams is tough.
losing
Like,
Devontae
that's
Adams
to
obviously
start
hurts,
with.
and then like they almost lost Aaron Rodgers too, and then there's
I feel like not losing Aaron Rodgers, I think, saves them from going
yeah.
to a D. I think C is good for them.
They had a weird draft too. They get Watson, but it's in the second round. They drafted Quay Walker 22nd. Like, why? I did like Devontae White at 28. That's fun. They got Jaron Reed from Kansas City. Green Bay is going to have the best defense in the NFL. Mark it down. I don't know. They screwed up the receiver situation, I think. But I think they've filled in. They brought back Rasul Douglas. They've made some smart moves at other places than wide receiver. So I'm cool with the C. But losing a top 10 player in the NFL is bad, no matter how you slice it.
True.
Texans
are a rebuild, I feel like.
S tier. Just for that Deshaun Watson trade.
Oh, yeah, agree. They like fleeced the Browns for a guy that's not going to play this year. They are it's like an S rebuild, but there you go. Although I don't love what the firing McCulley didn't love that.
Oh, that's
that's kind of a scapegoat thing.
Okay, I'm cool with giving them an S tier because they swung that trade.
I mean, I think extending Brandon Cooks too is big, and I like the pick of Stingley.
Yeah, I
it's
like
a very hit or miss pick.
Bro,
if he is healthy,
But
he's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those picks that if Stingley hits, he's the best cornerback in the NFL.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever wanted to see any kind of tier list where the Texans are an S tier team, here you go. This is it.
Like that Deshaun trade, though, like there's a good chance they have a top 10 pick. I think they'll have 2 top 10 picks, their own and the Browns.
Yeah, then at that point, if you aren't in a good spot for a quarterback, you can trade up and get a quarterback. Or this probably best case scenario for the Texans is, I can't think of a good year comparison, but like, say, I guess like the kind of like if the Jags stink this year or the Bears stink this year, but they win 6 or 7 games, and it's not Lawrence or Fields doing the stinking. If the best case for the Texans is that Davis Mills takes a step forward, but the Texans still have such a bad roster that they lose like 13 games, they get a top 5 pick, then they don't have to spend on a quarterback. They can get a Will Anderson, they can get a Jackson Smith and Jigba, or they can get a Marcelo Meyer. I don't know if he's eligible this year, or they get a Brock Bowers. I don't know if he's eligible this year. They get a game changer at a different position other than quarterback, because as soon as you like start the quarterback again, like if they have to go Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or Jerkovich or whomever, then you're just you're redoing the rebuild. So best case scenario for Houston, I think, is they're bad, but Davis Mills isn't bad.
They could also get the chance to get like a CJ Stroud and get Jackson Smith or Will Anderson or Noah Sewell, one of those top prospects, and get that quarterback. That would be best case scenario for them.
That's true. Fair. So Houston S tier. Indianapolis.
I would give them an A.
I like Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I think that Matt Ryan move is very good.
Alec Pierce, I think that's a good pick. They traded Wentz. They got some value to Wentz. I think I'm comfortable giving them an A. I think they had a good draft. Matt Ryan, they probably improved at quarterback. At the very least, it's a lateral move with Matt Ryan.
I think Matt Ryan's going to show he still has that pep in his step. I mean, being on the Falcons, it wasn't the most complete roster. You go to a great offensive line, great running back.
You have pieces in I feel like
Michael Pittman is shown last year. He can be a real weapon.
uSTADIUM legend Michael Pittman.
So
uSTADIUM legend Michael Pittman.
I think he'll have some improvement, and I think the expectation has to be at least the playoffs for the Colts, if not more.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that division should be theirs.
Hopefully JT has another really good year too.
All right. Staying in the division, we have Jacksonville. Staying pat with Lawrence, of course. ETN's coming back. That's on a move this year. No Chark, but you draft. Did they at like 30? Who did they grab at 33? Why am I blanking on who they drafted at 33? Because like last year they drafted Tyson Campbell. This year they traded up and got Devin Lloyd. That's right.
Yeah, and Marvin Jones. I mean, we say they overpaid him, but Marvin Jones is a solid receiver.
And they got Christian Kirk.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Why did I say Marvin Jones and Christian Kirk?
That's a lot of money for Christian Kirk, but I guess I see what they're going for. They still have Chenault. Offensive line could still use more improvement. They did bring in Brandon Scherf, former All-Pro. Foye Oluokun, cool. I mean, I think it's a fine offseason. I don't love Trayvon at number 1 overall. It's fine. It's a B or a C.
Yeah, I give it a B.
A lot of that is because they had such great draft capital.
Yeah, we'll go B. We'll be nice to the Jaguars. The Chiefs.
S tier. I know they traded Tyreek Hill, but I love the draft.
Trading Tyreek. Wow, jeez. I hate being congested. It screws with your voice so much. The Tyreek trade, obviously, it looks bad at first because it's like he's a top 10 player in the league, pretty much, or at least a top 10 receiver. But the draft haul they got back for it was so big. It's like I don't think it really hurts them that bad.
Okay,
and it's like,
I'll step back from S. A tier.
I think they spent the picks well they had this year, too, and that's the most important part. Like, we look at the trade.
And they can still, like, they'll still be fine. Like, they wouldn't have made a trade if they weren't convinced they would be okay.
Karlaftis,
Yeah.
McDuffie. A's. They were – Baltimore got 3 S pluses for me because they made 3 of the top 10 picks in the draft. The Chiefs were like had 2 S pluses and an A plus. So like I think the Chiefs really killed the draft.
Sure.
So I'm cool with giving them an A. Chargers.
I'd give them an A.
Yeah, I love the Zion pick at 17.
They like Williams too.
I would give them an A on their free agency alone. I feel like
Mac.
Khalil Mack, JC Jackson. I think the Khalil Mack signing is slightly overrated, but I love the JC Jackson sign up.
I think Khalil Mack still has those perks though, and he'll be very effective across from Joey Bosa.
Agree. Anything that you don't like? I don't think there's any reason not to like it.
No.
I might go S, maybe S tier because
it's the Chargers. I'm kidding. They didn't fire Brennan Staley, or they didn't.
A free agency, A draft. I don't know. I'd probably go A tier.
We'll go A tier. I guess it's just like it looks good, but like
they did lose Kazir White. They brought in another linebacker though, so it was like a lateral move. They spent a 3rd rounder on. Okay, I'm tripping. Okay, Los Angeles Rams staying in the city. Von Miller
world champion Los Angeles Rams.
True. Bobby Wagner in. Darius Williams out. He's in Jacksonville.
Robinson in.
Yes.
I think they're going to re-sign Odell too.
OBJ is to be determined.
I'd give them an A.
They lost Robert Woods.
I didn't love the draft. I didn't like Bruss at pick 3, like 102 or something.
I think Bruss will be fine.
I think
they went a little nuts on the secondary though.
Kobe Durant's going to be a darn good player, and Darian Kendrick has played huge games at both Georgia and Clemson.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine, but it's just they took so many people. Like the depth is going to be insane, but it's
Troy
like
Hill
how much depth do you need at the same time?
I'd probably go B. I didn't love the draft, partially because they don't have the draft capital, but they made good signings everywhere else.
They did. I do like. I'd go B. I think
no
what
Whitworth.
Stops me.
No Whitworth.
Whitworth, but like
I'd probably go B.
Here's the thing that stops me from making it go a little bit higher. I hated the Robert Woods trade. I really hated the Robert Woods trade.
I love Allen Robinson. I think so.
I understand. I like Allen Robinson. I'm not pinning it on that. I just think that like you got a 5th round pick for Robert Woods, and Woods didn't even try to force the trade, as far as I know. So it's like
that was more of a cap thing than anything else.
It still sucks though. Like the return doesn't look great, but who knows? You could get another like really good player out of that pick. So we'll find out next year. But I think I'm okay with B tier.
All right, Raiders. I think it's overrated.
Alone.
Devontae Adams is like
alone. That's S tier.
Okay. I'm gonna try to talk you guys down to A tier.
I'm not on an S tier yet. To be fair,
they traded Yannick Ngakoue and got Rock Ya-Sin. That's net negative. Chandler Jones was an overpay. Chandler Jones, although it is the Khalil Mack argument that he's a solid number 2 rusher at this point, but he's not a good run defender. No one on the front can. Well, Crosby's fine. but the front's going to be really soft against the run. No Casey Hayward, he's gone. They re-signed Renfro. Still don't love the running back situation. Waller's still there. I don't know. Yes, the Adams pick is great, or the Adams trade is great, and yes, I even like their draft. I'd go A. I wouldn't go S.
See, I think you can say Chandler Jones is overpaid, but no matter where he was, you're only getting him if you overpay him.
That's fair.
And that makes Ngakoue tradable.
Uh-huh.
So you might get a corner out of that too.
Is Chandler Jones that good though? Like that he has to get overpaid?
He would have gone over. There's too many teams in the market that wanted him, so I think he was getting overpaid.
Good point.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the market.
Right.
Miami Dolphins.
I would just go D because they still have Tua, but they made some.
I did like the Tyreek trade for them.
No,
They bring in Connor Williams.
See, Armstead move. Quick thing. He's not blocking to his blind side though. So they gave him this big contract to basically play. He's playing left tackle, but to his lefty.
This is a good point.
So he's getting paid what?
Right tackle.
He's getting paid what a right tackle is getting paid.
Right.
But instead he's getting paid as the top of the market left tackle.
Should we go B tier, or are you thinking C? I feel like what's stopping me from C is the
sneaky thing. This probably won't move the needle for either of you, but I want to mention it. Zaquandre White, they picked him up, undrafted free agent, running back out of South Carolina. Mike McDaniel, he is doing this at the rest of the NFL. And they also got Kellen Deesh from Arizona State.
They have Matt Breida and Chase Edmonds both are going to get injured.
Good point. So when Zaquandre White leads the NFL in rushing this year, I told you so.
I would give them a C. I think to me it's the Armstead thing. To me, make no sense. You're paying.
I just think what's stopping me from putting it at C is Tyreek, though. Tyreek can still be impactful. He's still.
I mean, you give them a B or C, and it's fine, man.
And they got Cedric Wilson. Okay, I'm gonna go B. They got Cedric Wilson.
I like Cedric Wilson.
That's true.
We'll go. Oh,
I think they made good moves. Minnesota. I think they really kind of screwed up the draft. The whole Jameson Williams trade, that was a disaster. They got fleeced. Lewis Cine at 32, he's fine, but I wouldn't have taken him at 32. Let's see. Other than that, I don't think they've done a whole lot.
I give them a C.
They kind of just existed.
Yeah.
I can't Michael Pierce is gone, I believe. He's in Baltimore.
I feel like C is fair because they just kind of were there. They just
kind of existed.
Yeah.
Didn't love the draft for once. All right, Patriots.
D. I think their big move was drafting. It was getting Devontae Parker.
What? And people are so hyped about the Patriots. Why? I don't even hate the Cole Strange pick. I don't even hate the Tyquan Thornton pick. But everything else just felt like they were punting. They drafted a quarterback in the 4th round, and it wasn't Carson Strong.
Yeah.
Why are you spending a 4th-round pick on a quarterback?
And they lost Josh McDaniels and instead put Matt Patricia in his place.
Oh.
To me, that's a D.
Yeah, I agree with you. They probably had the worst offseason. They had the worst offseason of a team that was supposed to be something. Yeah. The Bears, I don't want to give them a pass, but they weren't expected to do jack squat. Oh boy, those tight end.
Our expectations were low, and yeah.
Oh, no, J.C. Jackson's gone. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. New Orleans, Jameis is back. We are awaiting the Kamara suspension. Thomas is back. They signed Jarvis Landry. They sign
Honey Badger.
Yes.
I like the Honey Badger pickup.
Marcus Williams gone. Malcolm Jenkins gone, but now it's Marcus May and Honey Badger.
I give them a B. I think they're an average offseason.
They brought in Chris Olave as well.
True. I think B's fair.
They overpaid a little bit for Olave, but then again, all the receivers were coming off the board. So
yeah, true. They kind of needed to get their guy quick. So I think B is fair for the Saints.
Yeah, I think B is fine.
And at
They
least
just
with
earned
at
cred.
least with Kamara, you're not getting like you're not risking a potential like full suspension like
Yeah.
Deshaun. Like he's only
Trevor
gonna miss
Penning
like
at
6
left
games.
tackle is going to be interesting. But okay, New York Giants.
I like their moves. I just wish they addressed quarterback.
James Bradbury was a cap casualty because they could not sign the draft class.
I love their draft class though.
I do too, but
Yeah.
they couldn't sign all of their drafted players because they had so many bad contracts. Granted, that's not this year's problem. That's Dave Gettleman's problem.
Yeah.
So I think Joe Shane's done a lot of great things. I might go A here. The only thing keeping me from S is you still had to cut Bradbury.
Yeah.
You couldn't work.
I
That's
didn't
what, I don't know
do
if you saw the L I threw up. That's for letting go of Bradbury. That was terrible.
They made all these moves though, and like you look at like who's your quarterback, and still Daniel Jones, and I just don't know how many games you can win with him.
Fair, but don't they have 2 seconds or 2 firsts next year? Or is it just was it just this year that they
It was
I
just-
don't know why. Part of me really wants Daniel Jones to just have a breakout year and go crazy. Like
Oh, it'd be so funny, but like
that would be funny as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just likely
That's
Sam
the
Darnold
moment.
has a breakout year.
He had some moments last year. I'm just gonna say
Yeah,
was
he's had more
unreal
moments.
against the
He
Saints.
did earn the nickname Danny Dimes for a reason. He's had
Yeah.
more moments than Darnold has. So.
No, I don't know about that. I think Darnold's had more moments.
I don't think Sam Darnold does not win the game at New Orleans. He does not throw for 400
You have
yards.
that Cowboys game a couple years ago with Darnold.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
okay,
true.
fair
Okay,
play,
he's
fair
had one.
play,
He's
fair
had
play,
a
fair play,
moment.
fair
That's
play.
Daniel Jones too, I think.
All right, Jet.
Okay, New York
The
Jets.
Jets
Yeah.
A. That's an A, if not S.
Okay, Laken Tomlinson, great. Garrett Wilson,
Uzama,
great.
Conklin.
Jermaine Johnson, great.
I love a lot of their additions.
Conklin-
Conklin's gonna be an underrated move.
Uh-huh.
I think Jeremy Ruckert's gonna be an underrated move too.
Didn't love Brees Hall at 2 or in the second round, but whatever. It's a running back. He's gonna fit. It's gonna work.
Look at the second round running backs.
Look at their free
Henry
agents.
got drafted in the
too,
second
honestly.
round.
Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, the actual best running back in the AFC North.
And I think it's like you need the whole thing with Darnold was you didn't get him that help. And it's like you made in the offseason you got Jordan Whitehead, you got DJ Reed, you made those in your secondary. Lawson's coming back. You drafted Sauce Gardner, you drafted Michael Clemens, Jermaine Johnson. You might as well help your quarterback out. And if it takes drafting a running back a little high,
Okay, that's fair.
then that's fine.
They
Because
might go S tier, honestly. Just
Yeah.
so many moves. They got a lot better. I don't know if they have made the jump from bottom 4 teams into that Pittsburgh, Miami.
I mean, we're gonna
New England,
find out.
Vegas,
I think it just matters how Zach Wilson plays.
Yeah,
I think
they
we'll
might-
go A.
they're probably like in their own island of the 13th best, 14th best team in the AFC.
I'll probably put them in the A tier.
13th. Wait a minute. Yeah, 14th best because they're definitely better than Houston. They're definitely better than Jacksonville, but I don't think they're quite as good as.
I think they'll be better than the Patriots. I think they'll be better than Miami.
Oh,
Whoa! Okay, they are not going to be better than the Dolphins. I will tell
They're
you.
not
that.
gonna be better
Maybe
than-
the
I
Patriots.
just have no faith in Tua. I think Tua is
I
going to
think
lose them
Tua's
so
fine.
many games.
I think Tua is better than Brissett, and Brissett was awful last year. But
You're going to make me pull up the video of Tua he's playing Tennessee and the ball just slips out of his hand.
okay, well, I can show you a clip of Tom Brady throwing a pick 6 to Logan Ryan. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but like Tua doesn't. This is what happens. The Dolphins are always in it. It happened 2 years in a row, and then Tua loses an important game in poor fashion. He throws like 4 picks versus the Bills last year. Had like 2 fumbles and 2 picks versus the Titans this year. He just can't win those big games.
But they wouldn't have had to win those games if they had Tua to play the Raiders.
But I also, I just don't think Tua's that guy.
Tua won the Ravens game.
Yeah, but wasn't
Okay.
that
We got to move on. If we're gonna go on for 3 hours probably.
Eagles. I think the Eagles belong in ye old S tier.
Yeah,
Yes.
AJ Brown moved
AJ
along.
Brown.
AJ
love-
Brown.
Yeah,
Remember we looked at their roster too, and they were
Yeah,
like,
I love
"Holy
the
crap,
roster.
this
Jordan
team
Davis,
actually looks really
13.
Hassan Reddick was a steal of a signing.
good." That was.
I
Such
think
a
he's
steal.
overrated, but I think he's a good player. Jordan Davis,
He'll
important.
do what they want. him to do.
James Bradbury too. People forget he just went to the Eagles. That's a great move. Cam Jurgens, who is like the actual Jason Kelsey heir. Landon Dickerson was just trolling the NFL. Also, Jordan Mailata is eternally underrated. I think it's great. Eagles had a stellar offseason. All right, Pittsburgh. Ben's gone. You sign Mitch Trubisky. You draft Kenny Pickett with the 20th pick. You draft George Pickens. Juju's in Kansas City. James Washington is in Dallas. Offensive line, you add in James James Daniels from
The Bears.
Chicago. The defensive line, Tuitt retires. Linebackers, Devin Bush still kicking. You also bring in Miles Jack, who was awful last season. Don't mince words. Joe Hayden is a free agent right now. They bring in Levi Wallace. Killer Witherspoon is back in town. They gave a bag to Minkah Fitzpatrick. They also got Calvin Austin in the 4th round. What are we thinking of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I would give them a B. The whole Deontay Johnson thing, too, looks like it's going to drag out. So I'm a little worried about that. But I think they made some solid moves, and I think I like Kenny Pickett. I don't know if he's going to play this year, but I think
Wait. Since when is Joey Bart back in the majors? What? I just got a notification that he's not starting in my fantasy line. Well, obviously he's not starting in my fantasy line. Why is he start? Why did the Giants bring him up? When did they? What? Wait a minute. When did this happen? Okay, Pittsburgh. I'm
solve this conundrum later. Where are we putting Pittsburgh?
B.
I think B.
B. Okay, we'll go B tier for.
Why is he back in the majors? Darn it! I can't put him in my roster. Okay. Seattle.
Seattle's D tier.
Yeah, Seattle. I would just say they're in rebuild tier. They got like a solid enough haul from Russ, but
losing Russ is
losing Russ is a negative.
I think San Fran would be a C.
Yeah, they haven't you would have thought
the
all the
Debo
talk
deal is stupid.
The Debo thing is stupid. All the talk when when
Alex
the season
Mack retired
ended.
as well. I really don't like their interior offensive line. I think the tackles are fine. Obviously, Trent Williams is tackle 1. McGlinchey is a good run blocking right tackle. But what are you doing between? Tomlinson's gone, Mack is gone. It could be a disaster zone.
All the talk when the season ended was Jimmy Garoppolo probably just played his last game in his San Francisco uniform. He's still there.
Yeah.
What?
They lost some.
Figure it out.
Secondary.
I'm honestly inclined to go D tier.
I'm going to go C. I think it's a C tier.
I think C.
Okay, Tennessee. I know both of you are inclined to put them in D tier, but I think they've recouped assets from the AJ Brown trade and from Julio Jones. I think.
Why are we forgetting Tampa Bay?
Oh, okay. Because I was looking at the way my microphone was cutting off the screen. I could. Okay, Tampa.
Tampa got Tom Brady. They come back out tonight.
Okay, yeah.
But they lose Gronk, but Gronk might come back in a month according to his agent. So
yeah.
Good point. They did lose Jordan Whitehead. But they got Carlton Davis back. JPP's gone. They bring in Akeem Hicks from Chicago.
Remind me where JPP went.
I think he's a free agent still.
Yeah, he's still a free agent. So is
that would be a good pickup for somebody.
Yeah, so is Sue.
At least
Godwin is back. Evans is back. Antonio Brown doesn't technically count here. Cade Otton was an unreal 4th round pick. I think Tampa. I think they get an A.
That's a decent offseason. I go A.
Yeah, you bring back Brady.
Brady come out of retirement too.
Yeah. If Brady's gone, they're probably a C or a D. But then again, they would have made fundamentally different moves. Although. Well, I guess you get the retirement for friggin' Ali Marpet, but you bring in Shaq Mason for a.
They lose their coach too.
Can we put the Patriots down another level? They just gave away Shaq Mason. They gave away Joe Thuney last offseason. Bill Belichick, do you have a brain? Tennessee.
Let's see.
I know both of you probably don't like the AJ Brown trade and probably don't like them losing Julio, but let me get on my Titans soapbox here. Okay, first off, Malik Willis, quarterback, unreal pick. I don't care if you like Willis or hate Willis. 3rd round pick, incredible value. Wide receiver, they drafted a 1st round caliber player in Treylon Burks. They drafted a 3rd round caliber player in Kyle Phillips, who went in the 5th or 6th round. Great slot. You have 2 starting receivers right there. You bring in Robert Woods for a 5th round pick. That is 3 starting receivers. Last year you had 1.5 because Julio Jones couldn't stay on the field. Tight ends. Yes, you lose both of your top 2 tight ends from last season. You lose Michael Pruitt. I don't remember where he went, and you lose Anthony Firster. I don't remember where he went. But you bring in Austin Hooper, who kind of fits both of them, what both of them do for the Titans offense. So you get an actual go-to tight end instead of having to rely on 2 tight ends. Yes, they lose Roger Saffold, but you have Nate Davis anyways, and you have a elevating Dylan Radin, so that was it kind of had to happen, and they had to pay Ben Jones, their center, Taylor Lewan, whatever. We can get to him later. Defensively, Harold Landry was the important piece. He is back in town. Rashaan Evans gone. And the defensive backfield you didn't have to make many moves there. Kevin Byard is back. Christian Fulton is back. Caleb Farley is back off an ACL. I would say a B tier. I liked their draft more than I thought they would, even though they traded AJ Brown. So I would go B tier.
You got me up to a B. I'll go B.
I'll go B. Okay, lastly, this is an outdated logo, but regardless, the Washington Commanders.
Ooh. I'll give them a B.
Wentz. They did also grab Sam Howell, who doesn't eat anything but chicken. So congratulations. I didn't love Dotson at 16. I lost Scherf. They might trade Daron Payne.
I would go C tier, honestly.
I'm between a B and a C. I wouldn't be opposed to putting them in C tier.
I'm just really personally really low on Carson Wentz too. Like I don't
Wentz is better than Heineke.
That's true. I think Wentz is better than the alternative. B's fine.
That's
B's
fair. Fine. Okay, I'll go B. You guys convinced me. I'll go B.
All right, there we have it. Those are our NFL offseason tier lists. Broncos, Texans, Eagles with S tier. Are the Broncos, of course, with the Russell Wilson trade. Texans with the Deshaun Watson trade. And the Eagles with the A.J. Brown trade, among other moves. The worst, we had the Bears with just being the Bears. The Browns with the Deshaun Watson trade. The Patriots being the Patriots. And Seattle with the Russell Wilson trade. Drop in the comments if you think these were a good list, bad list. Who should be ranked higher? Do you think Baltimore should be in S tier? Do you think the Chiefs should be in S tier? Chargers? Do you think the Chiefs should be lower? Packers should be lower because they traded these superstar receivers. Dolphins a little bit higher. Raiders a little bit higher because they acquired those superstar receivers. So with that said, thank you guys for watching the wonderful tier this of the NFL offseason.